Okie dokie, we should be live. We should be live. We should be live. Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're live. Just a quick little discussion. Boxing, non-boxing, whatever it may be. Anything goes really. Any topic for the most part. And yeah, man, this weekend, of course, we have Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter. A big fight at welterweight. Really good fight, actually. Looking forward to that one. I was going to do a prediction video for that fight, but quite frankly, I've just not had the time. I've not got round to it. So it is what it is, but I am picking Terence Crawford to win. I believe personally that he'll win on points in a relatively competitive fight. Sean Porter's going to have his moments where he crowds Terence Crawford, kind of roughs him up. But I think Terence's, more versatile approach, his range, his snappy punching will prove the difference in this fight. But I am looking forward to it. This is Terence Crawford's best opponent to date, so we'll see how he gets on in this particular fight. But I'm looking forward to it. And even on the undercard, there's a couple of good fights to look out for. Christopher Diaz versus Isaac Dogboe is a really good fight. That's a really good fight. Neither guy's going to be a world champion again. Dogboe, of course, was a world champion, but he's not going to become a world champion again. Christopher Diaz is a fringe contender, but put those two guys together, it'll be a really good fight. So watch out for Christopher Diaz, Isaac Dogboe on the undercard. That's a really good fight. You've also got Janibek Alan-Kanuli on the undercard, a very good prospect from Kazakhstan at middleweight. He's fighting Hassan and Dam. He's definitely worth checking out. Really good prospect, on the verge of being a contender at this point in time. So there's some things to look out for this weekend. Obviously, tonight we have Andrade versus Jason Quigley. That's not a great main event, to be honest. But on the undercard, you've got Julio Cesar Martinez versus McWilliams Arroyo at flyweight. That's a really good fight. And also the return of MJ Akhmadaliev, who's a really good fighter, in my opinion. I like Akhmadaliev. Big up to the Quags. Good afternoon to you too, sir. It's evening over here now. It's dark and wet and miserable, which is a shame, but it's the UK. What do you expect? But big up to the Quags. Big up to Beltshire. Will there be any? Sorry, do you think there'll be any knockdowns? Yeah, potentially. I could see Sean Porter walking onto one of those sneaky right hands or an uppercut, something like that, and I could see a flash knockdown. Sean Porter does have a very good chin, and he's got good powers of recovery. So I'd be surprised if Terence Crawford keeps Sean Porter on the canvas. But if he does that, I'll be very impressed. But I could see a knockdown. Yeah, I could see a knockdown. Big up to Jiho Park. Salute. Big up to yourself. Big up to yourself. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. Okie dokie. I'm doing good, Anthony. I'm doing good, bro. And big up to Iceman as well. Big up to Iceman. Do you think the reason why people are so excited about guys like David Morrell and Frank Sanchez is because it's rare that you see fighters at this young age coming out of Cuba? Yeah, I definitely think that's the case with David Morrell. In regards to Frank Sanchez, I think he's listed as 27, 28. I'll be honest, I don't believe that. He looks a lot older. But David Morrell, he is young, in his early 20s, good amateur background. He's got an entertaining style, quick hands, good power. He mixes it up. I like David Morrell a lot. I think he's got a lot of potential. I really do. He doesn't have the stereotypical Cuban style. He's more of a boxer, puncher / fighter kind of thing. And he's definitely entertaining. So, yeah, David Morrell, I'm excited for David Morrell. And I can see why other people are as well. I'm taking Crawford by split decision. I think I think Porter will put it on him. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, bro, that disappointed me. I saw this on Twitter. I saw Mark tweeted this. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Williams is now off. Liam Williams has an injury. Majorly disappointed. Majorly disappointed. That would have been a really good domestic fight. I was picking Chris Eubank Jr., but Liam Williams would have made it fun, but it's being postponed, I'd imagine, which is a shame. And Buatsi versus Vlasov, another fight I was really looking forward to. I have to say, with Joshua Buatsi and Maxime Vlasov, I do wonder whether Matchroom got cold feet about that fight. You know, they just saw Kiko Martinez knock out Kid Galahad in a massive upset. Vlasov was a huge step up for Buatsi, so I do wonder whether Matchroom got cold feet in regards to that fight. We'll see. If it gets rescheduled, then fair enough, genuine injury. But if that fight doesn't get rescheduled, I think there's some funny business there. Exactly, Anthony. Yeah, a lot of these Cuban kids can't turn pro till late. You know, they need to formulate a plan, until they can get out of the country. So I think so, Michael. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is still with Frank. I'm pretty sure. He's not said anything to the contrary, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would say Frank Sanchez is 33, 34 years old, something like that. Crawford by 8th round TKO. If that does happen, Iceman, I'll be very impressed. You know, Terence Crawford's a weird one because for the most part, I like watching him fight. But to me, his career in the last few years at least has been so uninteresting that it's hard for me to really get behind him, kind of thing. But this is the sort of fight I was asking for. So if Terence Crawford goes in there and does a demolition job on Sean Porter, I'll be very impressed. Very impressed. Big up to Jack McLeod Jr. Evening, lads and lasses. Crawford late stoppage win, I reckon. He's got the tools and will mix it up. Porter will have him hurt, but he'll overcome the storm to win, in my opinion. Hopefully you're right, bro. I want that sort of fight. I want a good old-fashioned tear-up, you know? Sean Porter's one of those guys, whether he wins, loses, or draws, he you know you're in a fight with him kind of thing. And if Terence navigates Porter with ease, I'll be very impressed. Very impressed. I've got Martinez on points in a hard fight. McWilliams Arroyo, very durable, tough guy. Good puncher, actually, as well. Very experienced. You know, he gave Ioka a pretty hard fight. He went 12 with Roman Gonzalez. Arguably beat Amnat Rienrong. So McWilliams Arroyo, I would say, is a perennial top 10 contender. But I think Martinez will have a bit too much. I think he'll outwork him and win on points. But McWilliams is very dangerous. So, you know, Martinez needs to be wary of the power of McWilliams Arroyo. But it's a good fight. When I look at David Morrell, his fighting style is copying more of the Puerto Rican and Mexican style of fighting. Come forward with a high punch output. Yeah, I like the Puerto Rican comparison, actually. I think that makes a lot of sense with David Morrell. He doesn't have that stereotypical Cuban style. He's got quick hands. He puts them together. He throws combinations. He throws with power. He mixes it up. I like David Morrell. I do. Yeah, I think that's the safe bet. Crawford by decision. Honestly, Reese Mason, honestly, bro, I wouldn't be shocked if Tommy Fury takes a dive in that fight. I can't really call that fight. I don't think it's going to be real. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I don't think it's going to be real. Yeah, we was talking about this earlier. Liam Williams got an injury, so very disappointing. I was really looking forward to that fight. Hopefully it can get rescheduled ASAP. And if not, hopefully Eubank still has an opponent for December. Yeah, I can see that, Jiho Park. I can see that. Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson. Yeah, apparently that shit's happening. The world is going crazy, Iceman. Bro, if my fucking other channel gets more subscribers, maybe I should start calling out fucking Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, see if we can get a fight, get a big payday. It's silly, ain't it, man? It's so silly. All these like fancy ass fucking YouTube fights, ridiculous. Yeah, that whole scenario's, yeah, I know. I'm bored of that conversation, to be honest. We'll see what happens with that situation and we'll comment further, but we'll see. Nordic's here. Big up to Nordic. Good evening, lads. Just got in from a nice steak dinner. God bless. Hopefully you enjoyed it, bro. I've not had a good steak in a little while. I've actually got some in the freezer, so I might do that tomorrow. Yeah, he'll definitely go to middleweight and super middleweight as well. He's huge. He's absolutely massive. What is he? 6'5", 6'6" at 154? Yeah, he'll move up soon. He'll get a title shot at 154, and regardless of a result, he'll then move up, in my opinion. Yeah, it's off now. Yeah, Liam Williams got an injury. Virgil Ortiz by late stoppage. Avenisian will come to fight, no doubt about it. He'll give it a go. He'll land some good shots. He'll have a bit of success, but Virgil is bigger. He's stronger. He's younger. He's fresher. He's more versatile. He's got greater variety in his punches. And all in all, I think he's more versatile. So I've got Virgil Ortiz by stoppage in like 8 or 9 rounds, something like that. Good fight, though. I know the WBC ordered that fight for an eliminator. I don't mind that fight at all. Exactly, bro. Yeah, Buatsi Vlasov is off. Eubank Williams is off as well. That fight only got fucking announced the other day as well, Eubank Williams. What a joke. Yeah, Ski Dragunov. I mean, Andrade needs a devastating performance. He needs to win this fight in devastating fashion. I'm talking a knockout in the first 4 or 5 rounds. He needs to dominate and take care of Jason Quigley, because if Jason Quigley hangs around, it's not a good look. Jason Quigley got stopped by Turiano Johnson. Now, I've got a lot of respect for Turiano Johnson, but he's not a top middleweight. He's not. And that guy managed to stop Jason Quigley. So, listen, Andrade needs to get rid of this guy quickly. He can't afford another Luke Keeler performance or an Artur Akavov performance. Needs to get rid of this guy. You know, take out the trash, make a statement, get fans talking. That's what he needs to do. But, you know, I can't count on Andrade. I saw Chris Lloyd defending Buatsi on Twitter and said that Buatsi was using him to do opponent analysis on Vlasov, which I found surprising. Yeah, I've not seen that, bro. I've not seen that. I'll have to look at it. Yeah, fingers crossed, Nathan. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that's a good comparison, actually. Like, yeah, Miguel Cotto and Hector Camacho Sr. combined. Yeah, Cotto was more he was more methodical, but Camacho was more I wouldn't say dynamic. Dynamic's the wrong word, but Camacho is he was very expressive in his style. Great hand speed, punches in bunches, and it's like, yeah, you're right. It's like Morrell's combined those two styles, kind of thing. I get what you're saying. BBC is slandering Poland for defending its borders. That's the BBC for you, bro. But in all honesty, the world right now has got bigger problems, in my opinion. But the less said about that, the better, because I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a dangerous conspiracy theorist. You know? Basically, you have a DAZN commentator being paid by Buatsi to do research on an opponent. A bit weird. Yeah, that is extremely weird. DAZN's been a fucking failure, though, let's be honest. It's looking second rate right now. Exactly, bro. Shout out to all the sheep who took the little prick. Latest scientific studies suggest you're fucked. I'll always go with my intuition. And that's enough for me. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting next few months. I'll say that, given it's winter time here in the UK. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully at the end of it, we'll get a much clearer picture. We'll see. We'll see. It's a good fight. Yeah, it's a good fight. Ortiz versus Avenisian. I've got no problem with it. I've got no problem. Apparently, what's going on? Apparently, Virgil wants a fight in January, and then basically he'll fight Avenisian in late spring, kind of thing. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Virgil said he wants to be a lot more active in 2022, so fingers crossed. I've got a lot of faith in Virgil. I like what he brings to the table. I like him as a person. He seems quite level-headed. I like his style. I like the way he's been moved, in terms of matchmaking. He's stepping up, slight little steps each time. I think he's being moved really well. I like Virgil. Yeah, the undercard looks good, actually, for Tank versus Cruz. Yeah, Fundora versus Garcia is a really good fight. Derevyanchenko against Carlos Adames is also a good fight, yeah. That fight, I think, is some sort of eliminator with the WBC. So apparently, the Derevyanchenko-Adames winner has been ordered to fight Jaime Munguia for a final eliminator. So you could get some good fights out of that. If Derevyanchenko has anything left, I think he beats Adames, to be honest. Adames is a good boxer. He's a bit of a boxer-puncher, but he seems to succumb under pressure a little bit. So I think Derevyanchenko will win that fight. But again, it depends on what Derevyanchenko has left. That guy's been passed around like a spliff at a party, so I'm not sure what Derevyanchenko really has left. It's an interesting fight, though. Yeah, Alantes Fox. It's a good learning fight, Nathan. It's a good learning fight. Fox is tall, lanky, awkward as hell. It's a good learning fight. Do you think Porter has a chance to win against Crawford? Porter's been commentating ringside. His ring IQ might have gone up, and he won't be shocked with anything Crawford tries to do anymore. He's got a chance, man. At the end of the day, Crawford, in my opinion, is untested. He's not really had a hard fight since. I guess Kavalauskas was a hard fight to a certain extent, but he's not really had a super competitive fight since Gamboa. So I mean, if Porter puts it on him, who knows, man? Who knows? But I think Crawford wins. I think Crawford wins. All I want to see is Sean Porter be his usual self, and we'll see how good Terence Crawford is. What I will say is, I see a lot of people still claiming Crawford is like pound for pound number one, the best welterweight in the world. If that is the case, for people who say that, then, these guys must expect Crawford to beat Sean Porter quite decisively, maybe even knock him out, because they see this guy as a level above Spence, Ugas, etc. If that's the case, then Crawford maybe has to knock out Sean Porter, because the way Terence has been built up in the media as like this pound for pound star, and he's been that way for a number of years now. Surely he should be doing better than Spence. He should be doing better than Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, etc. If he has the same sort of fight, then in reality, it's a bad look on Terence Crawford. If you go by mainstream narrative, for me, it won't be, because I don't rate Terence Crawford as highly as mainstream media do, but like if Terence Crawford wins a close fight, I'll still say it's a good win. But the way everyone else talks about Terence Crawford, I'm sure they'll be disappointed and critical. I doubt it, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Quigley doesn't really have a chance, bro. Quigley is he was a good amateur, Jason Quigley, but as a pro, he's not really impressed. A lot of injuries, got stopped by Turiano Johnson. I mean, yeah, I'm not impressed with Jason Quigley. Oh God. Be safe, Dell, and the viewers. With regards from Brighton. Big up to Slime Entertainment. Salute. My theories are not conspiracies. I mean, ideally, it's got to be Roman Gonzalez. That fight wasn't conclusive. The second fight, it wasn't conclusive. So let's get a third fight. Eddie Hearn's talking about Julio Cesar Martinez versus Estrada. That's a good fight, but we need that third fight first. Yeah, 2021 is the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah. Kiko Martinez knocking out Kid Galahad. Sandor Martin outboxing Mikey. Yeah, maybe Sergio beats Sebastian Fundora. Sergio's a good European champion. High output, boxer, point scorer, throws a lot of punches. It'll be interesting. I've got Hosea Burton on points, but it's a good fight, Nathan. It's a good fight. Austria forcing people to get the jab. Do you think that could happen in the UK? It's kind of ironic that Austria are endorsing that kind of thing, but could it happen in the UK? I mean, potentially, we shall see. We'll see where it takes us. I hope not, but if it does, I will have to consider my future, consider my options, I guess. Dale, let's say Virgil Ortiz doesn't get the championship fight he wants at welterweight. Do you think he moves up to permanently to super welterweight? I mean, I think he'd have the same problem at super welterweight because the champions, Jamel Charlo and Brian Castano, are both PBC. So I think he would have the same problem, to be honest. I think Virgil's best bet is just to work his way into a Mando situation, try and become mandatory. I think that's Virgil's best bet. And honestly, right now, if I was managing Virgil Ortiz, I would be going down that WBC route. He's got an eliminator right there against Avenisian. Spence is at Spence's best. He's a very good fighter, but he's been inactive. He's had the car crash. He's had the eye injury. He doesn't live his life outside the ring. If I was managing Virgil Ortiz, I'll be going after Spence right now. I really would. Yeah, I'm not sure how to go with that one, Nathan. I'm not sure how to go with that one. I'm kind of on the fence. Did you see the footage of Josh Taylor meeting Crawford in the flesh? Startling that Josh looks so much taller and bigger than Bud. Made me more of a believer in Josh versus Crawford. Yeah, that's what I was saying a few streams ago. Somebody asked me about Josh Taylor in terms of like a pound-for-pound status. And that's why I kind of said, yeah, Josh has got a very good resume at 140. He's a very good fighter, and he's got great accomplishments, but is his run at 140 really pound-for-pound worthy, considering he is always, apart from Postal, like he's pretty much always the bigger man. That's not really like true pound-for-pound status, in my opinion. But you're right, yeah, he's a big dude, Josh Taylor. He's a big, big dude. Damn, that's messed up, bro, Matt. Nah, condolences, bro. Yeah, it's already happening. One of my best friends who took the experiment died with heart problems. Yeah, that's fucked, man. That's absolutely fucked up. But yeah, condolences. That's all I can really say. Just stay true to yourself, stay strong, and stand on your beliefs, man. That's all. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Yeah, Munguia's too big. Yeah, Munguia's too big. Munguia's too big. He's a big middleweight now already. He's a big dude, Jaime Munguia. No, I've not seen it, Reese Mason. I've not seen it. See, my thing with like the whole conspiracy or truther movement, I try and stay away from it. Um, it's hard, yeah. I see a lot of people always say, "Oh, we need to wake these people up. We need to wake that group up, etc., etc." But like the question you have to ask yourself is, like, when were you woken up, and how were you woken up? When you ask that question, most people say, "Oh, it was just my intuition. It was just me. Nobody persuaded me to wake up." I believe some people are just too far gone. They are, there's no point trying to waste your energy. And I'll try and stay away from that whole truther movement because it is doom and gloom. They paint out like we have no hope. And I wonder at some point, at some time, sorry, is that just a big psyop by the powers that be to try and discourage people, kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? But who knows, man? Who the fuck knows? Just it is what it is. Big up to Marianne G. Respect Dell. Nice weekend of boxing here. I've got my money on Bud by late stoppage. If he's as good as he's made out, he should just pepper the shit out of him and for the entire fight. Yeah. Indeed. Swedish researchers showed it impairs DNA repair, think cancer, and all other degenerative diseases. Those scientists are crazy kook conspiracy theorists. You can't trust what they say, man. But it is what it is, man. We shall see. We shall see. We'll see who is on the right side of history. Yeah, I like Navarrete, yeah. I'm a big fan of Navarrete. Next fight is going to be at 126, or do you think he'll move to 130 or 135? I mean, if I was Navarrete, I'll try and get the fight with Kiko Martinez. Listen, Kiko's coming off a great win, but he's very beatable. He's washed. He landed a perfect shot against Kid Galahad. He got the title. Take that title. Fight Kiko. I think that fight makes a lot of sense for Navarrete. Yeah, I'm thankful I didn't take the jab. If they force it, what a joke. No freedom soon. We'll be moving in machines, unable to use legs in 100 years. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do, man. Like the last few months or so, I've been trying to make as much money outside of work as possible. Come up with side hustles and things of that nature to try and not be reliant on a check from an employer. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Right now, I'm just stacking cash as much as I can, and we'll see where it goes. But I need something that is truly sustainable outside of work. Like right now, my side hustles are, I wouldn't call them like totally sustainable. So yeah, I need to work on that still. I made progress, but I need to work on it. Big up to Unrivaled. Great channel, by the way. If you guys haven't checked out Unrivaled, where have you been? Where have you been? You're fucking up. Check out Unrivaled. Really good channel. To be fair, bro, Bronze Plumber, I've not seen this at all. I would need to research it. I would need to research it. Guess, year older. Guess. Natural. It's natural. It's a yeah. Big up to Boxing Source. Yeah, I've got no idea what this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing's about. I completely ignore like mainstream media these days. I know vaguely what it's about. Like was he trying to like defend property in the riots or something, and he shot a couple of people, something along those lines. But I try and avoid that sort of shit. It's all theatre, bro. It's all theatre, in my opinion. It's designed for a very specific reason. It's divide and conquer. You know, right from the off, that was politicized. Left versus right, black versus white. It's just divide and conquer, man. And people will get up in arms about that sort of case, but at the same time, they're giving away their rights. They're like closing their businesses. You know, for a virus with a 99% survival rate. You know. And then when there's so many contradictions, man. Like when it comes to big tech, if they censor people, oh, they're a private, like Facebook's a private company, Twitter's a private company, they can do what they want. That's the narrative when it comes to censorship. But when it comes to small businesses being closed down during lockdown, if they disobeyed that, they're fined, etc., etc. Oh, it's public health, it's safety. What happened to private businesses and their rights to make money? It's all a load of shit, man. It's all a load of shit, in my opinion. Yeah, that great painter. Indeed. I swear, like, we're in a fucking time loop, man. I swear we're in a time loop. Like the first few decades of the 20th century, compare that to now, like the first few decades of the 21st century. Sorry, I meant like the early, like 1910, 1920, 1930, compare that to now, 2000 to 2020. Striking similarities. Allegedly. Martinez late stoppage. I think Sonny gives him problems with his angles, with his boxing, with his feet, but I think Martinez is just too robust. He's got quick feet himself when he closes the distance. Attacks at crazy angles. I don't think Sonny could evade him for 12 rounds and not get broken down. Demetrius Friday Night Boxing Andrade, yeah, Boo Boo. What an apt nickname, Boo Boo. Fucking hell. Austria's brothels are offering a voucher for 30 minutes if you get the vaccine there. They give you 2 pricks, you give them 1. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's basically it's clout chasing. Danny, he's just turned pro. He's a young kid. I don't blame him. He's got to build his profile. I don't blame him, but there's nothing behind it. I actually think he's a really good prospect, Keyshawn Davis, one of the better ones coming out of the USA right now, and Top Rank have just signed him, so that's a good signing. They also signed Richard Torres, the Olympic silver medalist at super heavyweight. So Top Rank have made a couple of good young signings in recent days. Yeah, facts. Yeah, I'm telling you, he's a big kid. But there you are. He's another divisive clown, Owen Jones. All of these people, like, you know, on both sides, whether it's left or right, guys like Owen Jones or on the right, Tommy Robinson, all of these guys are propped up to some degree by the powers that be. All of these guys are propped up. Yep. Hopefully, bro. Hopefully it happens then, because that fight keeps on getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Second fight, I enjoyed the second fight. I thought it was really good, but needs a third fight. I still haven't gone back and watched that fight that second fight. I keep on meaning to. Yeah, great signings. I think Keyshawn is one of the best prospects in the USA. And Richard Torres, being an Olympic silver medalist at super heavyweight, Hispanic background, he could be a big star. If he can fight a bit, he'll be a big star, Richard Torres. And he's got a good style as well, in my opinion, like aggressive. So good signings. Personally, I don't see Bud doing a better job on Porter than Ugas. Ugas is great at slowing fights down and neutralizing his opponent, while Bud's aggressive enough to bring the best out of Porter. You might be right. I just think Sean got his tactics horribly wrong against Yordenis Ugas, but I'm not sure whether he was pissed off that Canelo chose to take pictures with Tio. I just think Josh is kind of getting sick with Tio, kind of clout chasing. I hate that fucking term, but I keep using it. Calling himself undisputed while basically sitting in no man's land, waiting for the landscape to clear so he can grab vacant titles. Because, like, Josh Taylor really called it out quite well. He said that Tio's basically too shook to fight Lomachenko again, which is true in my opinion, and he's too shook to fight Josh Taylor at 140. Hence why he's calling out Josh Taylor to a catch weight at 137. All Tio is doing is waiting for Josh Taylor to move up so that he can fight for a vacant title. That's all Josh Taylor's doing. Sorry, all Tio's doing. And I think most people can see through it, kind of thing. My prediction actually is that Tio is going to miss weight against Kambosos. I think he's going to miss weight. He'll fight the fight. He'll knock him out, and then he'll move up. That's my prediction. I've got a feeling he'll miss weight. Maybe I'm wrong. You might be right, DMD. You might be right. It's a good fight, man. If you can go and see that fight in person, do it. One thing I don't have to worry about is heart problems because I don't have a heart. Big up to Tom Wild. Salute to Tom every single time. Big up to Mad Chad as well. Another good channel. Check out Mad Chad. Really good channel. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not out. It's not, it's possible. It's possible. Like I say, Arroyo can really punch in both hands. He's experienced. He's durable. And Martinez takes a lot of risks. He takes a lot of risks, man. So don't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked. But I am picking Martinez on points. If Martinez can stop Arroyo, that's very impressive. Imagine. Yeah, big up to Kiko. If I get medical problems, I'll rely 100% on Facebook memes and not seek advice of trained medical staff. Long live the advice of unqualified conspiracists. Facts. Red pilled squad. That's another thing I think you need to avoid, though. Those like the whole based crew and red pill this, red pill that. I think it's best avoiding those sort of people because it's still the same thing in a sense. It's just like this whole collective of dogmatic thinkers. It's just like a big fucking circle jerk echo chamber, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm hoarding money and I'm working on a podcast trying to monetize. We'll see if that works out. Yeah, yo, if you need to, bro, just drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. I've been flipping watches and trying to avoid using banks. Del, with boxing fans saying that Emmanuel Navarrete has suspect technique with his defense. Should he move over to Eddie Reynoso? I don't think so. He's doing something that works for himself. Emmanuel Navarrete. He's deceptive, Navarrete. Very hard to read. He's one of those guys. he's got incredibly long arms and he makes that work for himself. Like when a guy thinks he's out of range, Navarrete will pop him and catch him. He attacks at weird angles. He's got an unorthodox style, like an offbeat type of style, but it works for him. It works for him. He reminds me of not stylistically, but he reminds me of Joe Joyce in the sense of when you watch him fight, it doesn't necessarily look technically correct, but it's very effective. It's very effective. He's kind of similar to Joe Joyce in that aspect. 99% of medical staff are indoctrinated, have zero scientific training, and can't grasp basic logic. Put myself on mute there. I don't need the prick. I am a prick. Yeah, I know, right? Probably sooner than you realise the way the world's going. Probably sooner than you realise. Yeah, I think that fight makes a lot of sense, Brandon, for Virgil Ortiz. So again, the plan for Ortiz, from what I read, was to have him fight in January against against an opponent, and then have him fight Avenisian late spring. I think that's a good move for him. That's a good route, because Avenisian at this stage is definitely a top 15 welterweight. I think it makes sense. Yeah, he's not the heaviest of heavyweights in the world. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on. I like him. I do like him. From what little I've seen anyway in the amateurs, I do like him. Is Teofimo destined to be all talk and no action for his whole career, age 23, and it's taking him 13 months to get back into the ring after the Lomachenko win? Yeah, it's feeling like that at this point in time. I think now he's got that big win on paper, he's going to try and dine out on it for as long as possible. He'll try and navigate himself through the boxing landscape and get vacant titles, weak champions, that sort of thing. That's what you're going to get from Teo in the next couple of years or so. That's what you're going to get, I'd say. Exactly. He's got one great win on paper, and even that win, I have to preface that it's on paper. Let's be honest. Was that like a prime and optimum Lomachenko? No. So, like right now, to me, he needs to fight Loma again, fight Devin Haney, or fight Josh Taylor, one of those sort of guys, in his next fight after Kambosos. I think it will happen now. We're basically a week away. I think it will happen. Yeah, it's next weekend. It's next weekend. Your boy Jax. It's next weekend. Yeah, no worries, bro. No worries. No worries. What would the topic be? Would it be boxing or something different? Just, Yep, you own nothing can be happy. The dream is, man, make a shit ton of money, or not a shit ton of money, but as much money as possible. Build a log cabin in the woods and stay away from everyone. That'll do me just fine, honestly. That'll do me just fine. I need to get back into like some of my hobbies. Not hobbies that like me and my dad used to go like do things like fishing, catch and cook, things like that. Go down the beach, like go crabbing, get crabs to eat, lobsters and shit like that. I need to start getting back into that. That sort of thing. Just like just reconnecting with things I used to enjoy back in the day. But I got time. Yeah, exactly. How has Loma fought more recently than Tio? And he lost the fight against Tio, laugh out loud. I give Tio full credit for beating Loma. It was a great win, but he's so inactive, especially for a young fighter. Yeah. Tio's just not interesting to me right now, honestly. He's just not interesting. Oh, yeah, you're 100% right, Anthony. Yeah, he's a big, tall, rangy guy. 6 foot, what's he, 6'5", 6'6", whatever he is. And yeah, he likes to crowd and throw crooked arm punches. Kind of like Paul Williams in a way. Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. You could see that in the Nakatani fight. He beat the piss out of Nakatani. I thought Nakatani was going to give him some hard rounds. I was picking Loma to win, but I thought it would be on points kind of thing. I thought it'd be a wide points win for Loma, but a physically hard fight kind of thing. Wasn't the case. Yeah, but I guess, he's just doing what is comfortable to him kind of thing. Like, like Paul Williams. I mean, that guy should have been an outside fighter when you look at his body, but I guess he found it more comfortable to trade up close and let go of his shots. No, I've not bet on that fight. I don't usually bet, bro. I'll only bet if it's like crazy odds. So, for example, I was going to bet on Maxim Vlasov against Terence, against Joshua Buatsi. Like Vlasov was what, 7-4, something like that, and I would have had some of that, but that fight's been cancelled now. So I wait for those sort of fights. Crazy. Usyk on points again, I would say, or maybe even late stoppage. It all depends on what Joshua does, man. If Joshua's super aggressive, I think he gets knocked out. I think Joshua gets knocked out. Crawford points. This fight, we're going to find out exactly how good he is. Providing Sean's at his best, we'll find out how good Crawford is. Exactly, yeah, exactly, Nordic. That's what I'm saying, yeah. If it's like the real, like, Sean Porter at his best, and if Terence deals with him, then yeah, that's a very good win. I'm not sure with Tio, bro. I'm not really sure what to make of him, Teofimo Lopez. I'm not really sure what to make of him. For some reason, one thing I will say, I think that relationship with his dad is going to end badly. There's going to be a fallout. I can see that happening. I really can. I don't know. Tio just reminds me of one of those guys you can see going off the rails kind of thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, if you look at his personal life already, there's been strain when it comes to like his relationship with his wife. That's had some impact with his family and things like that. The inactivity, blah 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 blah. I'm not sure when it comes to Tio. I'm not sure. I think he's very talented. Like he's got great. Again, I describe it as great raw potential. I think he could be a really good fighter, but I don't think he's got that consistency about him, and you need that as a fighter, not only to obviously maintain your fan base and get more money and, get more viewers, etc., but you need that as well to improve as a fighter. You need to be fighting consistently. against decent competition. And he's a 23-year-old who's had 13 months out of a ring. So I'm not sure when it comes to Tio, bro. I'm really not sure. Really not sure. Yeah, that kind of works in his favor and against him at times. Like, he can really suffocate his opponents, but at the same time, like you say, he can smother his own work. So it's one of those. Good fight, yeah. I was talking about this fight earlier. A sleeper fight on the undercard. Dogbay's had those two really hard fights with Navarrete. Christopher Diaz also took a beating against Navarrete. Diaz is bigger. I would hazard a guess and say he's stronger and maybe more durable. I think Dogbay's a better fighter, but he's a bit smaller. I'm kind of leaning towards Diaz, but not by much. I can see that fight going either way. I could see a knockout either way. I could see points either way. I could see a draw. It's one of those sort of fights. It's a good one, though. That's a proper undercard fight. That's a good undercard fight. Yeah, no interest in Josh Warrington right now. No interest whatsoever. No interest whatsoever in Josh. I wouldn't be surprised if he fights Kiko next, to be honest. Yeah, more doctors, though. Yeah. I mean, that's basically here already. You know, there's people out here fucking buying sex dolls who talk, you know, sex dolls that can talk, that can, you know, move and shit. That'll be a thing soon. Like a brothel with like fucking sex robots. That'll be a thing soon. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You know, especially considering the state men are in 2021. A lot of these dudes are too scared to go outside and actually approach a woman. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yeah, it's a good yardstick for Tony Yoka. I think he's being moved quite well, Tony Yoka. The only problem was the inactivity when he had that testing debacle, you know, missing drug tests when he got banned. But yeah, apart from the inactivity, I think he's being moved quite well for a guy of his stature. What's he, 12-0 now, 13-0? He's fought guys like Christian Hammer. He fought Johan Duhaupas. He's fighting Carlos Takam. I think he's being moved okay. And hopefully, towards the end of next year, he's in and around the contender status. Yes, decent. Yeah, Usyk would stop Canelo Alvarez, man. He would stop him. This whole Canelo thing's getting out of hand, man. It's getting out of hand. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I've got a weird feeling about the Makabu fight. Mate, I'll talk about that later, though. I think that's going to be the fight where people actually start maybe to realise that there's more to these Canelo fights than meets the eye. That's all I'll say. I think people might start realising for some reason. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong and naive, but people are eating it up, though. People are eating it up, so we'll see. Yeah, I've seen Falcao fight a couple of times because he was going to fight Golovkin in the summer. Well, anyway, it was rumoured. And I had a look at Falcao, and he's quite well put together. He's a big middleweight. He's one of those guys who does all of the basics really well. He doesn't necessarily excel in one particular area, but he does all of the basics well. Nice enough boxer, hits relatively hard. He's a good all-round fighter. I've never seen Volney fight before, though, so we'll see. We'll see. But I think Falcao's decent. I think he's decent, yeah. I agree. I think Joe knocks him out, J-Dav. I think Joe knocks Callum Johnson out. Callum can punch, but he's very fragile, both in terms of injuries, and I don't think his chin is the best either. And he's been inactive, like you said. And he's 36. He's 36. It's not related to boxing specifically. It's mainly about developing yourself in the professional world. Tons of topics to work off. With that, I can also bring in plenty of guests. Okay, interesting. Interesting. See, that sort of thing these days is quite sought after, you know, that whole personal help type of thing and, you know, advice, particularly when it comes to men. I think that does sell, that does do views. So if you can build up like an initial like little viewer base and go from there, it could do well. It could do well. Problem with that community though, there's a lot of grifters. Like it's like the whole manosphere thing and dating and shit. Like a lot of those dudes are full of shit. A lot of those guys are full of shit, just overcomplicating everything. But yeah, man, you can make it in that scene, no doubt about it. Yeah, I've never seen a vegan who looked healthy. Like if they were like a long-term vegan, I've never really seen a vegan who looks truly healthy, genuinely. Like, I'm not talking about somebody who's been a vegan for 6 months or so or a year, but like a long-term vegan, I've never seen one who looks healthy. They all look drawn out, you know, like Dracula kind of thing. Not for me, man. I like seafood and meat too much, especially seafood. I love seafood. Not sure yet, G-Man, you know. Not sure. Had a long day, so I'm a bit tired, but I might stay up for a couple. I kind of want to see the Julio Cesar Martinez fight, so I might stay up for that one. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm not even sure what time the card starts, G-Man. I'm not even sure what time the card starts. Yeah. I don't like what he's doing with the whole trainer situation. It seems a bit, I don't know, it's like him courting trainers on social media to me is just a bit weird. It's just a bit weird. I mean, he basically said in the IFL interview, not directly, but he basically said that he's a fighter who can't adjust on the fly. Basically, he related every single problem back to his corner. Like he was asked about the game plan, and he said, "Listen, I'm a product of my environment, and you know that comes from training camp. Basically, that's why I thought that way. But at some point in time, yeah, you might tailor a certain game plan, but if it doesn't work, a great fighter will be able to go off a script and do his own thing and change the fight. Joshua couldn't do that, and he's not addressing that at all. He's not a natural fighter, Joshua. And what I mean by that, you very often see that when guys like turn to boxing late, guys like Wilder, guys like Joshua, yeah, they're great athletes, they can punch, they can do things in the ring, but I don't think they've got the natural inclination on how to handle themselves in a boxing ring. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the problem with Joshua. Joshua doesn't have a high ring IQ. He doesn't have great intuition or, you know, great. I don't think he's great at thinking in a crisis necessarily. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't think going into a Usyk rematch with a new trainer is necessarily a good idea. If AJ were to change a trainer, he should have done it after the Ruiz loss. Because the route to beat Ruiz was always there. Everyone always knew it, you know. Make the most of your height and reach, utilize the jab, and move. Ruiz has slow feet. He's short. He's fat. He can't close the distance quickly. Anybody could have told Joshua what to do in that rematch, you know. And that's when Joshua should have changed trainer after he lost to Ruiz that first time, in my opinion. But changing trainer going into an Usyk rematch, that is so much to take on considering what sort of a fighter Usyk is. You know, the multiple problems he brings to the ring. It's just, I don't know, with Joshua. Yeah. Yeah, you were so close as well, man. That 12th round, Falafel, man. So close. Maybe. Yeah, I could see that. I could see Tio not really living up to his hype. I could see that. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, Falafel, man. I couldn't believe it. For me, I don't know, man. I want to see Loma in. I want to see Tio in there against Lomachenko again, against a fully fit Lomachenko. See what Tio can do, because let's say Tio rematches Loma and knocks him spark out. That's a great win. It's a great win, and it builds his profile even further. Because a lot of people feel like Tio caught Loma at the right time, so that'll dispel that if he went in there again and knocked out Lomachenko or beat him convincingly. So I think it makes sense for it. I think it makes sense. And if he's going to stay at lightweight, he's not going to fight Devin Haney. He's not going to fight Tank Davis. He's not going to fight Ryan Garcia. If he stays at lightweight, Lomachenko really is the only realistic option. Big up to BG London. Salute to BG. My man who likes to basically like burn his steak before he eats it. Big up to BG London. Let me have a look at this shit quick. Hang on. Fuck. That's decent enough. Okay, cool. One second, lads. I'm just checking something in the background. Are you fucking cunt? Fuck. Fucking YouTube, man. Pissing me off. There you go. Get rid of that shit. Nah, he's still going. I think this will be his last like big payday though. Yeah, Yoko's a good boxer. He's a good technical boxer. Problem is though, I'm not sure what his chin's like. He got knocked out a few times in the amateurs, and he seemed to struggle with guys who could really put it on him. So we'll see. But he's definitely an interesting fighter. Big up E-Machines. Salute to E-Machines. Oh, fuck's sake, now I'm being fucking text. Oh, I've got text. Hang on 1 second. Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. I was listening to YB and he said that Canelo has a chance against Usyk because Canelo likes fiddly fighters. Jesus. I mean, he lost rounds to Caleb Plant. He's not going to beat Usyk. Honestly, if Makabu is not like drained or anything like that, he's just, the same old Makabu that he usually is. Does anybody actually believe that Canelo beats Makabu at cruiserweight? Interesting. Trying to do like a million things in the background here. There you go. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be shocked with anything when it comes to Canelo. Yeah, that's disappointing, bro. BG London. I was really looking forward to that fight. Same with Buatsi Vlasov. Gutted that those fights have fallen through. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, any like fucking talentless fuck like me can get followers. Like there's a lot of people out there who have like great editing skills. Uh, they're great communicators and whatnot, better than me. But it's just finding a niche. It's finding something that doesn't necessarily have a lot of creators, but a lot of like potential viewers, I guess I would say, kind of thing. That's why I kind of went down the route I did with the second channel, because true crime is fucking um it's saturated. But delve further into it. What's a niche within true crime? And then I kind of came to that realization. It was by mistake, really. It was supposed to just be a regular true crime channel, but I made that one video about the fucking cartel chainsaw one because I saw that years and years and years ago, and I thought I'd make a video on it, and it just blew up, and that was it, really. Just totally by luck. No planning, no real planning, no real great editing skills or anything like that. Just the only thing that's really time consuming is actually the research behind like the various cases. I guess that's really it. That's really it. And obviously having a strong stomach as well. But yeah, he beats both guys in my opinion. I'm not a big believer in Lyndon Arthur. I don't particularly rate Anthony Yard that highly. They're two good domestic fighters, but listen, Joe, I'm not a big fan of Joe these days, but he'll beat either one of those guys. Imagine the improvements you'd have to make to go from running for dear life versus an aged Golovkin to backing up and knocking out the best light heavyweight in decades, yet Canelo's skill has actually gotten worse. That's the thing. That's the thing with Canelo fights. You look at it and it just looks off. It just looks off. Like when it comes to like I don't know, like examples of guys moving up and doing crazy things like Manny Pacquiao, Roy Jones, like they had certain special attributes, like whether it be blazing hand speed, great explosiveness, crazy reactions, or something extraordinary about their style. And you could see them translate that as they went through the weight classes. You don't really see that with Canelo at all. It just seems, peculiar for whatever reason. Now, are these fights fixed, or are the opponents just purely drained and they have various clauses that drastically affects their performances? I don't know, but what I do know is I saw Kovalev fight. I've seen Kovalev fight since like the Cornelius White days and Lionel Thompson days, and I've never seen Kovalev fight like that. Never. He was fighting like, you might as well call him Sergey Malinage in that fight. It was just weird. It was weird. And I don't get like, I know you've had a bit of backlash recently in regards to your videos. I don't get why people are so necessarily dead against that theory. I really don't. Like pro boxers even talked about that fight. I think Anthony Durrell mentioned how suspect that fight was. Badu Jack did. He mentioned how suspect it was. A lot of guys in boxing were saying how suspect the Kovalev fight was. It didn't look right for whatever reason. I don't know, man. Not seen it, bro. I don't watch TV, bro. I don't even have a fucking TV license. I don't watch TV. I'm paying for a fucking TV license. Okay, 3 a.m. main event. That's not too bad. I'm not going to stay up. Nah, fuck that, actually. I'm not going to stay up 3 a.m. to watch Andrade. Fuck that shit, man. Bro. Yeah, this guy, Makabu, was taking Kudryashov's power. And all of a sudden he gets knocked out by a middleweight. Call me a hater, but doesn't look right. Irony is that most vegan girls have the strongest fish smell, yeah. I got a story about that, kinda, but it's too graphic, man. It's too graphic. I think I've told it once on the channel before. But I'm not gonna say it. I love the fishy ones. Yeah, he's injured, bro. Yeah, that fight's been called off. The Eubank fight, yeah. I hope Liam Williams knocks Eubank out. He's injured, man. He's not going to do that. One of the reasons Joshua can't address or adjust is because he's been given many advantages over other fighters with regards to promotion, protection, and home advantages. Fury had it harder, and it shows. I mean, maybe, but I think a lot of it is due to the fact that Joshua started a lot later. It's hard to pick up those sort of instincts when you take up something as a man. He was a grown man when he took up boxing. He was 18, 19. Like, he was an adult when he took up boxing. So that's a lot of years missed out in regards to development, whereas Fury was always around boxing. You know, he come from a boxing family, started quite young, so it's very rare like these guys can start older and really have that sort of fighter's instinct. Not mentality per se, but instinct. Yeah, the fuel crisis. Yep, I couldn't. Yeah, people were just going crazy over that shit. Crazy. It won't take much, man. It doesn't take much to get the people going. It doesn't take much at all. I mean, people were fighting over toilet paper at the start of the first pandemic. Sorry, lockdown. People were fighting over toilet paper and silly things like that. And it makes you wonder, like, if it ever gets to the scenario where, you know, there is genuinely a food shortage and things like that. These are the sort of people who would bash your brains in and kill your family for your last tin of beans. That's the sort of psychotic person you're dealing with. The people who get involved in that sort of thing, you know. I mean, if they have enough money, Bronze Plumber, I potentially, yeah. I would, again, you could see that happening. Yeah, I think he would do as well, Falafel Man. I think they're going to put Lara on the shelf, though. He's not really a name. Nobody knows who he is. I know he got that big win, but he's not really a name. Andrade's fighting Jason Quigley, and there's a couple of good fights on the undercard as well. If Canelo versus Makabu is in the Congo, then Makabu might not lay down. Yeah, I just find it hard when it comes to Canelo fights. I find it just hard to even talk about the whole charade, man. Yeah. I mean, the problem is though, like when it comes to Canelo, like if I knew, like let's say beforehand, I knew it was genuinely a real fight, and Canelo beat Makabu at cruiserweight, yeah, I'd give him all the credit in the world. But you have to bear in mind, like Canelo Alvarez, he's a guy who, or his team, whatever, they are people who have lied to our faces before when it comes to rehydration clauses. The Sergey Kovalev fight, they said that fight was at light heavyweight, which it was, with no rehydration clause. They was they said there was no rehydration clause until the eve of a fight when it was reported that there was a rehydration clause. So they essentially missold that fight to fans. They were basically making out like it was a healthy Kovalev. He could rehydrate to whatever he wanted to when it wasn't the case. They said there was no rehydration clause when there was. So they lied to me in regards to that fight. They missold it. Then on top of that, the Danny Jacobs rehydration clause, the various catch weights, the drug testing scenario when it came to the clenbuterol, avoiding Golovkin for a few years until he got older. There's so much shit with Canelo that, like, why would I give him the benefit of the doubt that it is real or that it is on the level? Why would I do that? It's just pattern recognition. That's all it is. Like so many of this guy's fights are extremely dodgy in one way or another. So why would I assume that it's real or on the level? Like again, when it comes to the Kovalev fight, again they're selling a product and they lie to the consumers. If you bought a product from somebody and it wasn't what it was described as, would you buy from them again? No, you wouldn't. That's how I feel about Canelo. Fool me once, shame on me, and all that shit. Yeah, Buatsi fights off as well. Yeah. I've got a feeling Matchroom got cold feet, BG London, in regards to that fight. I think they saw what happened with Kid Galahad, and they knew Vlasov was a very risky fight. I'm surprised they made it in the first place. Yep, year of a pullout, yep. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, for the longest time, I mean, was he really massive at 154? His team was saying for years that he's too small for middleweight. And again, in regards to Canelo Alvarez, like when it comes to his fights, I mean, they've set this they've set this standard where it looks like a lot of his fights aren't on the up and up. Let's just say that. Let's just say it from that perspective that he doesn't let these guys fight on the level playing field, and there's numerous examples of this, documented facts, where these guys aren't on the level playing field. Like that's not. It's not something I can necessarily get behind. Like to me, Canelo is just like this generation's Floyd Mayweather. In fact, I think Canelo abuses the A-side privilege far worse than Floyd did. That's my problem as well. I see a lot of people shilling for Canelo, and at the same time, they'll turn around and say how bad Floyd was for boxing, that he did this, he did that, catch weights, selectively picking fighters at a certain time in their career, the IV. They'll bring up these scenarios, which I agree with, but at the same time, they'll then shill for Canelo Alvarez, who basically, I mean, that's what annoys me. I saw his debut on an MTK card, Chris. I think it was Avenisian. Let me have a look on BoxRec. I might be wrong here, actually. I'm sure I've seen this guy fight before. Yeah, Ed Harrison. Yeah, that was an MTK card. It might have been that golden contract card. Yeah, it was. Yeah, the golden contract card. Yeah, I've seen him fight before. He looked okay. He looked okay. Yeah, Andrade's undercards are almost always better than his own fights. Akmadalia fought Danny Roman on the Andrade Keeler card. Yep. Yeah, he's an outlier. Yeah, started boxing at 23. Incredible to see how much he's achieved. Yeah, mass psychosis. Yeah. Yeah, turn off the lights and Londoners or New Yorkers will eat each other in a week, especially the starving vegans. Yeah. I do wonder what would happen, like how long it would take until people started descending into that sort of behavior. If like all of the power went out, there was no technology or anything, big ass EMP hit. How long would it take until people started fucking literally cannibalizing each other? I'd give it 48 to 72 hours. I'd imagine something like that. Probably before that, actually, probably a day. I mean, listen, a lot of his fights don't look on the up and up for whatever reason. What we do know is his opponents have had clauses in their contract which are designed to affect their performances. That's not a conspiracy. I actually think Marcus Brown's going to give Beterbiev problems early on in that fight. Marcus Brown's a weird fighter. He's a hot and cold fighter. When he's looked good, he's actually looked really good, like against Badu Jack, for example, and Gabriel Campillo. He looked really good in those fights. But the Hot Rod fight, obviously the Jean Pascal fight, he looked pretty poor. So it's hard to know what to expect from Marcus Brown. But I think he'll make a fight of it early on. I think he might give Beterbiev some problems with that movement and his speed out of that southpaw stance. But I think eventually he'll get knocked out. I think he'll do okay though. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I'll let people run their channels how they want to. I try not to. I try not to block anybody unless they're being like completely fucking belligerent. I'll try not to block anybody. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he didn't want to fight him a third time. Well, I don't think it was necessarily that, but his training. I don't think his training camp was ideal leading up to it. He didn't look as fit for me. His reactions looked a little bit off. I don't think he. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he didn't take it too seriously. I've never seen her, bro. I've never seen her. With a name like Stevie, it puts me off already. Let's Google her. Let's give her a Google. Stevie Levy. What a stupid name. Stevie Levy. No, not for me. Not for me. I'm guessing. I'm guessing you would, BG London. I mean, you're a man who likes to cook his steak until it's like charred. So, and by the way, check out Fight Film's channel. Some really good videos, especially recently. Mauricio Suleiman. Hello, amigos. Don't listen to Delboy. He doesn't recognize the greatness of catch weights and rehydration clauses. Canelo, bring me Danilo, amigos, numero uno, WBC. Yeah, Kovalev is definitely past it. Apparently, Kovalev's going to cruiserweight. I heard that. Apparently, he's going to cruiserweight. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I need some Oscar Valdez tea. It didn't really do him much good, though, because he looked terrible. But Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. We've been going for a little while. We've been going for nearly an hour and a half. So yeah, man. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you are you stay safe. You be productive. You enjoy the fights, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. Peace.